Well, hello, and welcome to episode 24 of Voice of the People. I'm your host, Colin Vedros. We'll get you to our special guest in just a bit. I want to give you to our poll question from last week. Who are you rooting for in the big game on Sunday? Now, obviously, it was a bear-down game against the Chiefs and the Eagles, but out of 522 responses, most of those, 222 to be exact, were not watching the game. Right underneath that is the Eagles, 162. Congratulations to them being Super Bowl champions. And then 116 for the Chiefs, and then 22 watching the halftime show. Now, our special guest this week is President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, Will Green. We talk about the recap from 2024's legislative session, or legislative sessions, you will, and a look at 2025 in the future, including some talk about tax reform and education. So without further ado, here's episode 24 of Voice of the People. President of LABI and CEO of LABI here today, Will Green. Just kind of give me a walkthrough of what all you're going to be speaking about and just recapping the special legislative sessions as well as the regular sessions.
Yeah, Colin. So we're here today with the Central Louisiana Chamber of Commerce kicking off our legislative issues tour. It's great to be out meeting with our local chambers, talking about all the exciting things that happened in 2024, all the great policies that passed, and then really kind of giving a peek on what we see that needs to be done next year. And so, building off of the successes of 2024, the work that needs to be done in 2025 to kind of continue to see the economic impacts of Louisiana to really move our state forward.
And you kind of see it as more of a statewide approach, right? Just an overlay of kind of everything that's going on in Louisiana. One big project that I know we've covered and definitely seen in Monroe is the new Meta announcement that came out. What are some other big projects that you see are going to improve Louisiana moving forward, as well as some policy changes like you just mentioned from the legislature?
Yeah, so look, data centers, obviously the Meta announcement, that's huge, right? I mean, that's going to bring a lot of jobs and a lot of investment to Louisiana, and we're poised for that, right? I mean, we're situated on the Gulf of America. We've got the Mississippi River, some of the greatest ports, energy, water, all of those things we are uniquely situated for in Louisiana, right? So we just need to match our God-given resources with good policy. We started that out in 2024, right, with massive tax rewrites to make our state more attractive. We started out with really good economic development reworkings at LED and the LWC and at DNR. Education, some transformative education policy changes, right, expanding access to education savings accounts. And just all of these things to attract investment to Louisiana, to grow investment here locally and regionally and across the South, really to move Louisiana forward, to really be the economic force that we think the state can be and should be.
So one thing that Governor Landry mentioned last year was that North and Central Louisiana would see a bigger boost, right? You're not really seeing much of I-10 on that scale because you already know like a lot of that region, a lot of that economic boom is already seen, especially when you look at Baton Rouge and New Orleans. What does the future look like for Central Louisiana trying to match up to those standards?
Yeah, look, I mean, Louisiana has fallen behind, and really there's no reason for that, right? I mean, we should be, as a state, situated a lot better. For that reason, in 2024, we put together at LABI a strategic plan to move the state forward, right? I mean, it covered education, it covered workforce, it covered tax, it covered criminal justice reform. We got off to a great start last year, again, passing transformative tax reform, moving the state. It should move the state from about 42nd on our tax scale to the mid-20s. On education, you're seeing great strides. I mean, this year we moved up more than most states on reading and math and in those areas. And so we think we're poised in a unique situation right now with our policies that we've already done in 2024. If we can build on those and move forward in 2025, right? Let's build on those tax policies that we've already done. Let's get some insurance reform. Let's make some tweaks to our education reform and expand on those things. And if we do those things, we're going to keep attracting the Metas of the world, the data centers, the manufacturing. We've got access to good energy. Again, we've got the Gulf of America here. We've got the Mississippi River. We've got some of the greatest ports in the world. And so I'm really excited about the future of Louisiana and the prospects that we have here. And just couldn't be more excited to be here in Alexandria today with the Central Louisiana Chamber of Commerce to really talk about all the exciting things we have going on.
And I think that was one thing that when you look at Governor Landry's plan, whenever he was inaugurated, right, bringing Louisiana back to what it once was, and part of that was bringing that tax session on. How crucial was that tax session, especially when we look to the future as far as bringing Louisiana to that place?
Yeah, when I talk to my members, both here and members that are looking, businesses that are looking to come to Louisiana, they want certainty, they want predictability, and they want transparency in tax. Louisiana, before Governor Landry's plan, and really it was a lot of, if you look at our strategic plan lined up with Governor Landry's plan, it was anything but. And so, we were one of 15 states, I believe, with a franchise tax. That's gone. That's no longer. We had the highest corporate income tax rate in the South. Second, as high as New York. Now, we're going to be one of the lowest in the South. Income tax. You're seeing states try to get rid of the income tax. Right now, if the ballot measure passes here in a few weeks, we'll be among the lowest income tax states in the South. And so these are all incredibly good moves forward for the state to not only grow and keep and retain our talent and our businesses here, but attract more businesses and more talent to Louisiana, and that's the goal.
So one thing that I know we didn't really touch on so much, but I know it's something of importance for Louisiana is definitely insurance. Do you see kind of a special session or at least a bigger push for that in the legislature, and kind of what's your purview on that in 2025?
Yeah, look, it's hard for me to go anywhere and talk to a business, talk to one of my members without them talking about the stranglehold that insurance has on them. I mean, we're one of the highest cost insurance states in the country, both for property and casualty insurance, car insurance. And so I absolutely think that we need to do something, and we need to do it now to address our insurance crisis. We have to attract more insurers to the state, because the more insurance companies we attract to the state, the more competition we have, and we know competition helps lower rates. Businesses are fleeing the state because they can't afford insurance. And so we have to look at what Arkansas is doing, what Florida is doing, what Georgia is doing. Governor Kemp is aggressively calling for special sessions to address the insurance crisis. I think we need to do the same thing. We need to do it now. We need to relieve that pressure from our businesses and from our families. I talk to parents all the time that, it's hard to afford insurance on one car, much less, a vehicle for a kid trying to get their first car, to go to school, to go to their first job. And so we have to relieve that pressure. We have to look at what other states have done that's worked to reduce insurance rates. And I think we need to do it as quickly as possible, whether that's at a special session or in the tax fiscal session coming up.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts for me?
No.
All right. Will Green with Labor. Thanks for doing it today.
Thank you.
And that was Will Green, President and CEO of Lobby. I want to thank you for joining me for this week's episode. And before we go, we have our poll question of the week. Which reform topic should Louisiana state lawmakers pursue further in 2025? So you have 4 different options. You have insurance, education, criminal justice, or other. So you have different choices right there to pick on this week's poll. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this week's edition of Voice of the People. I'm Colin Vedros. Thanks for watching.